I would like to ask speakers and our esteemed guests if they could make their way to the seminar room to be on stage, please. Namir Asif Raza, Prithpal Singh Sunny, Ram Sati, Andrea Pereira, Sam Paisard, Satakshi Singh, and also from Ace Luxury Immigration Solutions, if Mr. Shahrukh Abbas Gondal is available, please. Good to have you on stage. Good to see everyone. So there will be 7 on stage, so this is going to be a good seminar. Fingers crossed we can have some robust debate and have an interesting conversation. Still waiting on the last couple. So if you are one of the guests that are speaking, we ask you to make your way into the conference room for the 2 o'clock conference, please. I think we're just waiting on one more guest before we get underway. Also a reminder, if anyone wants to come into the seminar room for our 2 o'clock session, would be good, as I think we've got a full house here, all 7 people. Wonderful. All right, let's get this underway, because we've got some fantastic topics as some late stragglers make their way in. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Lachlan Kitchen, effectively known as Kitch, and today we're going to be discussing skilled and business immigration, how you can expand your possibilities to live and work beyond borders. Now, we do know that immigration worldwide was already on a growth trajectory before the COVID-19 pandemic, but now as the world begins its recovery, there is an even further rise in numbers. Differing government restrictions, I mean, they're all easing, but they're still there during the pandemic, have motivated people to look for nations offering more options for mobility, safety and security than their own places of residence. And job security is always a big thing people are looking for, and they're now recognising the advantages that selected countries can give them for their overall lifestyle. So demand for study abroad programs are certainly rising, with a lot of countries taking a break in visas for a couple of years. And it's hard when choosing a study abroad destination, as most students have started looking for nations that give them a pathway and the opportunity to stay back and work there. That's always an incentive. So we're going to ask our panellists, we've got some questions. Which nations are accepting skilled immigrants? What are the key trends shaping migration and mobility amid the pandemic? And what courses and streams are in demand for future employment opportunities abroad? So to our guests, all 7 of you, thank you very much. This is a full house we've got here. I like this, so we're going to have some good debate. We'll go through the guests that we've got today. From DN Consultants, Namir Asif Raza, who is the Assistant Regional Manager. Namir, if you want to raise your hand, thank you very much. Good to see you. From Vancity Immigration, Prithpal Singh Sunny, the Marketing Director. Thank you. From Vision Immigration, Ram Sati, the Managing Partner on the end. Wonderful. And we have from Sanji Caldera Associates, Andrea Pereira. Thank you. Lovely to see you. Aqua Investments, Sam Paisard, the Senior Investment Advisor. Thank you, Sam. From Ace Luxury Immigration Solutions, Mr. Shahrukh Abbas Gondal. Thank you. Yep, wave to your fans. We like to see that. Always good. And from the Annika Group, it's Satakshi Singh, the CEO. So give them all a round of applause. Thank you very much. Good to have them here. Just a bit of housekeeping. You'll notice we do have microphones there, which we'll ask you to use when you speak, and we'll share those around as well. We will provide space for questions at the end, should anyone want them. But whilst we do have a set of questions, please feel free at any stage, if one of our guests says something that you don't agree with, or something that you may want to add to, we really want to hear your thoughts, because we don't want this to be just completely question and answer. We want to really start a continuous debate here as well. So if you want to add something, or you directly, want to say you are completely wrong, we'd love to hear that as well, to see some debate. So a reminder for those that are just coming in, we are here focusing on skilled and business immigration to expand your possibilities to live and work beyond borders. So thank you very much. I'm going to first of all move along and speak to, from Sanji Caldera, Andrea. I know you're the country manager COVID-19 for a few places. First question to you. COVID-19 has created enormous uncertainties in the lives of certain people. Why now, as we're in 2021 and we're coming to the end of it and restrictions are easing, why do you think that this is the time for people to start exploring opportunities for migration?
As a professional in the industry, I don't believe there is a perfect time to explore migration. However, the smart thing to do right now is to take advantage of the opportunities that have arisen due to the COVID pandemic. There's been a severe impact to the labor market, creating an increased demand for skilled migrants in the countries such as Australia and Canada. Mainly these countries depend on skilled migrants coming into their country because their economic growth strive on getting in skilled, talented individuals that help their economic growth.
Yeah, thank you. It's certainly, been a struggle for a lot of countries. If I can move to you, Satagashi, in your role from the Annika Group, if we can share the microphone, a lot of countries, especially when it comes to student migration, they've had to go on pause because they've closed their borders. Are you seeing a lot of countries now are changing their philosophy because they're really trying to amp up and make up for lost time over the past couple of years?
Yes, actually, I have seen that, and if you see during the COVID-19 pandemic, a lot of students were actually studying online in order to compensate for that. So definitely, it's really good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that's encouraging. It's a good position to be in. I think you're going to have a lot of options.
Definitely.
If you are certainly going to be that way. When it comes to the key trends that are shaping the skilled migration sector, if I can move along to you, Ram, from Vision Immigration. Skilled migration, what do you think are going to be the key trends that are going to shape the sector over the next 12 to 18 months?
All right, thanks for your question. We have several options in Canadian immigration and Australian immigration. New Zealand immigration is also coming up with the pointing system. If I will see the trend at a moment after the pandemic, people got awareness. So now, this is like a psychological factor that people understood that we need to have the stable life. We need to have the country where we can get the social and welfare benefits and a lot of amenities. So that is like a hit which people got it, and with that they got more aware to have that citizenship or the permanent residency to the well-established countries. I also understand this thing that with a lot of vaccination done, the end of lockdowns and all, the government also giving a lot of relaxations in the rules and the regulations and a lot of frameworks. And we need to understand also this part, the trend of Canada or Australia, or majorly in Canadian immigration, is moving forward towards the provincial nomination program. As we can see and understand that from being a tenure and the phase of 1 year, we haven't have any federal skill draws. So that is clearly showing us that the high skilled immigrants, the candidates with the good occupations are highly in demand, and we have a lot of options and scope towards provincial nomination programs in Atlantic region and the rural regions at a moment.
Yeah, you brought up Canada there, which is a good point to bring in ACE luxury immigration. Sharuk, what do you think if someone is looking to go to Canada to obtain Canadian citizenship, but moving along as a business owner, what do you think are some of the best ways to obtain Canadian citizenship?
Thank you very much for hosting this wonderful seminar, and I will thank you for all the guests who came here today. It really means a lot to all of us to showing up you. See, the traditional immigration, it's called skill migration, is with every coming year it's going to be very tough. So people, especially who are in a mid-age, have a bachelor education, usually they don't fall specifically for Canadian business skill migration. So there are different routes apart from skill migration where an entrepreneur mindset, someone who has a better skill strategy, someone who has a better business plans, better ideas, can explore different routes which have no cap there. My friend here has rightly described that provincial nomination is one of the great route to go there. But my take is that provincial nomination has certain caps. There are only specific number of people every year which can be selected from provincial nomination. Whereas there are different other entrepreneur routes in which you indirectly first go to Canada and then apply for the PR. And that's the smart move in which you have a peace of mind that you don't need to go to the system of selection in which you don't never know you'll be picked up or not. One program, specifically two programs mentioned here is one is ICT, intra-company transfer, and one is entrepreneurial, ways to go and establish your business in Canada. So if you have a business already here in Dubai or any other part of the world and you want to migrate to Canada, ICT is a very unique and fast route through which not you will only get a permanent residence, firstly get the work permit, but after 1 year staying in Canada, you may be eligible to apply for PR as well. And there is no LMIA involved in ICT. You will directly apply to the government by establishing one of your branch in Canada with zero upfront investment in Canada. And that too, in some cases, you even no need to give the IELTS certificate depending upon your your educations and skill set. So this is one route which I always say if you have a business, you should go with that. The second route, I believe, being a lawyer in Canada, we have explored a lot in this area. Previously, it was called owner-operator LMIA, which was somehow been given more caveats, and now it's come as entrepreneurial way. So you go and establish your business in Canada, through which you will either get yourself or any of your family member a work LMIA and work permit, which will not only give you a work permit to work in Canada, but also help you in boosting your points in express entry. Right now, we all industry friends understand that in Canadian immigration, the problem is that score. There are a lot of competition there, and scoring criteria is so high that in the average channel understanding, it's very tough to meet that. So these programs can help you to boost up scores up to 200 points depending upon your level of education and your level of skills where you're working on. These two programs, I believe, they are best at the moment, and someone who wants to have indirectly want to land to Canada in a short time, that's one of the two best routes. And then, of course, startup visa is always there to help you, the people who have a better and unique ideas to establish themselves.
Well, Shiruk, you pretty much answered all my questions about Canada, so thank you very much for that. While we've still got you, I want to keep on that topic. You touched on it sort of briefly there about the intra-company transfer program that was designed by Canada to allow foreign nationals to work in Canada, but without that labour market impact assessment, the LMIA. So when it comes to it, what would you say, what are the general requirements of anyone who wants to get this intra-company transfer policy, and how long is that visa valid?
Okay, that's actually a very great question. And ICT, we call it intra-company transfer. As you can see from its name, it's basically a program through which you have already set up a business somewhere in the world, and business is promising, it has a good cash revenue, or your business is growing, and now you have appetite to expand it. And one of the great markets is North America, and Canadian government understand that in order to attract foreign direct investment, they need to attract foreign businesses. And to attract foreign businesses, they have put certain relaxations. In ordinary cases, if you want to go to Canada and want to have work permit, you need to have an LMIA. But see, in ICT, they have specifically exempted this. Apart from this, other requirements are that your business should be in a better financial standings, you should be growing, and you must have a 1 year continuing relationship with your business. If you don't have a 1 year continuing relationship, you may not be qualified. The good point is here that there is no specific education requirements, no voice required, because you are going there to run the business, not as a skilled migrant, and to establish a business, to be frankly. And even though in certain cases, which we have done several cases from Dubai market, if your education set skill is good and you are working in specialist sectors, you don't need to give even an IELTS certificate, and processing time is very fast. In some cases, even it's not believable that we have done this application in less than 3 weeks. In less than 3 weeks, you will have your work permit if you have meet all the requirements. ICT work permit is 1 year, but renewable up to 7 years. So in 7 years, if you establish your business, then you can convert yourself to any other program, or you have many other routes there to apply for permanent residency for this program.
Okay, thank you very much. Canada's always been an attractive place for a lot of reasons, and you can certainly highlight, there's a lot of benefits when it comes to healthcare and schooling. But leaving Canada to one side, I'll bring the conversation back here to the UAE. And to this one, I'm going to post it to from DM Consultants to Namir. Sorry, no, okay, we'll if you would like to answer the question, please, go for it. No, please, continue, yeah, go. Into the microphone, yeah.
I just want to listen to the question.
Sure, go for it. Well, the question I really wanted to ask was, which countries, in your opinion, and we're going to open this up to a lot of people to see if you have differing opinions, which countries, in your opinion, are the most sought-after destination for clients in the UAE for skills-based migration?
Okay, so there are only 3 countries who offer skilled migration, that is Canada, Australia and New Zealand. Seeing after COVID, New Zealand has recently started accepting the expression of interest but haven't started making the invitation rounds yet. However, if you will see in Australia is one of the skilled migration option, but again, the invitation rounds are not happening. So at this moment, if you will ask me, yes, in near future, both the countries will start, but if you will see at the moment, Canada is the only country who is inviting applicants during this time on the skill basis. Now, coming to, again, did Canada got ahead of, Canada migration, skill migration got ahead after COVID? Yes. Federal nominations are not happening, where I'm sure a lot of people know about it, that the federal nominations are not happening. And people having good scores, even more than 470, 480 CRS score, are not able to get the federal nomination because it's not happening at all. A lot of people have this in mind that only people who are residing in Canada, having Canadian experience or having relatives in Canada are getting invited. That is not the case. Yes, there are people who are outside Canada, doesn't have relatives in Canada, are getting invited through provincial nomination. Yes, provincial nomination, I agree, totally depend on the occupations in demand. It comes from the employers, the basics, the certain skill set that is in shortage, like at this point of time, healthcare sectors, IT is very much in demand. There are certain other occupations. Administration was always in demand. If you will see, recently Nova Scotia has invited financial officers, and Labrador and Newfoundland, one of the provinces has recently invited healthcare sectors. So opportunities are always there, but as I always say to all my clients, that migration is a time-sensitive process. The longer you will wait, you are giving your opportunities to someone else. So provincial nomination at this point of time, I see for the skilled people is the best option. However, but I can say that is only till the age of 42, that's also if you have masters attached to your application. If you are into bachelor's category and you are above 40, it's better to go as an entrepreneur. As my friend said, there are so many entrepreneur options available. Ontario is working fine in entrepreneur, OINP entrepreneur stream. British Columbia is working fine at this point of time. These 2 options are there in entrepreneur option. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think that it's an interesting point. Don't waste time. There's always other people that are going to be taking your place. Is an interesting one. I know we've got 7 people, so it's a busy stage. So I do want to try and get through to everyone. Moving on to Aqua Investments, Sam. I know you've been patient. I want to get your experience about the United Kingdom. They've had a very particular challenge with COVID-19. They opened up their borders and everything else, earlier than everyone else, and now they're still suffering with huge amounts of COVID cases. But when it comes to visa opportunities, given what they've been through, if someone's looking to move to the UK and they're a skilled professional, what are the opportunities open for them?
Good question, and I'd like to thank you all for having me here. I'd like to also proudly announce that UK is now the 4th country offering skilled workers to migrants. Previously, it was done predominantly by the government. Now they've privatized it, and as long as the company has a sponsorship license provided by the government, they are able to import skilled workers for jobs in demand. Now there's 2 tiers. There's a tier 1, which is deemed by the government as highly skilled, which they require as employees in the country. And there's also just the standard tier 2, which is the skilled workers. So good question. During COVID, they did go through quite a rough patch where they amended a few of their programs, specifically the Innovator program. And due to Brexit as well, it also sort of came crashing down at the same time. But like I said, now they've privatized skilled workers into the country. It's a fairly simple process, pretty much like everybody else. The turnaround time's on average between 4 to 6 weeks. It's a point-based system as well. The highly skilled is at 90 points and the skilled workers at 70 points.
So when it comes to that points-based immigration system, the UK is now accessible to foreign workers from around the world, but now they've broken free as part of Brexit. Are you finding anyone from the EU is actually wanting to make their way into the United Kingdom?
To be honest, I mean, I think in this region we are, I believe, apart from Y-Axis, the second company that's dove into it, as we have exclusive affiliates in the UK dealing with it, not only on a recruitment basis, but there's around 40,000 companies in the UK that have obtained these sponsorship licenses. So we're sort of diving into this market regionally as we have a presence here. In terms of from Europe, I think that's going to be a bit of a slower burn because they've just recently been booted as per the Brexit. So we haven't personally experienced any influx in demand from Europe itself, but there's a mass amount of interest from the local market, or the GCC particularly.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, Sam. We'll get back to you. From Vancity Immigration, Prithpal Singh Sani, I want to get your thoughts in regards to Canada, if that's all right. You know, we've touched on this a few times, but one of the things that when we've looked at all of these in regards to skilled immigration, what do you think in regards to Canada? What are the exact top programs that you offer that you think could work?
See, Canada being the second largest country in the world, and it's the biggest country, and there are many provinces. Each province is having their own PNP programs. All those programs are to support the immigrant, the qualified people, the skilled workers, and along with that, the investors as well. The programs for the qualified people, they are the express entry, and the people who cannot make it directly to the express entry, there are programs called LMIAs and work permits for them to get into the express stream, and then to the PR, of course. For the skilled workers also, they have the similar programs through LMIA and work permits. For investors, they have intercompany transfers and startup programs as well. And each province is having their different points category, whereas if the person is not selective to a particular province, he can try with that other province. So basically, Canada is planning to immigrate around 400,000 people per year. So they have a target to bring almost 1 million immigrants up till 2024. So they have their various programs. It all depends candidate to candidate. So we have a customized programs for every candidate. So according to the profile we choose, and we ask them to follow that path. So basically, immigration is the most country currently where the immigration is possible for a foreign worker. It will be Canada for me, because of the various programs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. We'll move back down to the start here from Anika Group. Satakshi, we'll get your thoughts, your experience with Canada as well, as we can just pass the microphone along. Moving away from students, but also to business and skilled, which we're focusing on, could you maybe have a look at this and in your experience, what would be some of the best ways to increase your express entry score for someone who wants to get into Canada?
So the best way to increase your express entry scores are, see, age is something you can't do anything about. Either you can go for IELTS as the best option. If you are at a CLB 6 or a CLB 7, increase your IELTS scores, take IELTS classes. We have our own sessions in-house, so we help in that. Plus at the same time, work experience. If you are at 2 years work experience, if you can make it 3 years, wait for a while, go for that as well. Third option is work permits. Work permits gets you 50 points or 200 points LMIA. That gets you an added boost on your base score. Those are all the options available, and definitely you can get a selection in Canada.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. As we continue on at this stage, Andrea, I'll throw to you from Sandra Caldera, because I know that you're also very skilled in Canada, but also Australia, which I want to focus on. Are there any new changes that we should be aware of currently with Australia? They're looking to reopen to students, and they're looking to reopen to a lot of people after being closed for a couple of years. Are there any changes that we should be aware of if anyone's looking to migrate to Australia at the moment?
Yes, I would say the notable changes in Australia would be, even though they have still approved the same level of places in terms of skilled migration, they have increased the distribution in places, distribution in programs such as the Family Migration Stream for business investors and Innovation Stream. There is also a prediction that there would be a threefold increase in programs such as the Global Talent Visa.
Okay, and what's the Global Talent Visa?
It's a special program that focuses on individually talented, skilled migrants that would help with their economic recovery. So it's mostly critical skills such as medical professionals, engineers, professionals such
high-end skilled people.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Well, I think that Australia and New Zealand and Canada are certainly going to be opening up their borders, you know, having been closed for a couple of years at this stage. Prithpal, I want to go back to you, and in regards to when it comes to international students, you know, a lot of people are looking to, you know, study overseas. What percentage of people do you think, when they do look to study, are doing it in order to receive residency and not just to further their education?
See, currently Canada is the best country for students because a student can go, he can opt for a 2-year plan. After a 2-year program, they will be getting a PGWP, what we call as a postgraduate work permits. And once they are over there, they are working for a year, they can apply for a TR to PR scheme, whereas from the temporary resident, they can apply for a permanent resident, getting the particular score. And since they have already get the education for 2 years over there, and with 1 year of work experience, they almost make up to the point to make their PR. So basically, for students, if they see, Canada is the fastest country which can offer PR to the students. Even by taking a 2-year program, they will be offered a PGWP, and after a 1 year of PGWP, they will be given a PR. So currently, according to the new generation and the students, Canada becomes a better option for if they are planning for a PR or permanent residence. And if they just want to go and study and come back, it is at par with any other country, maybe US, Australia or Canada. But the only benefit that Canada gives is that the student is eligible to get a PR in 3 to 4 years' time. That's it.
Yeah, I think definitely there's always that need to get a permanent residency and a citizenship later on. Moving along now to from Visa and Immigration, Ram, if I can ask you again, the basic idea of trying to keep the consumer happy. You know, sometimes we say, you know, the customer's not always right. What's right for the customer is quite often right. And I put that to, how hard is it when someone comes into you and they have an idea on an immigration program, and you then think that maybe you should be offering them a different pathway that might be a bit tricky? How do you help a client choose the right program that matches what you think matches their career goals, but also gives them the best chance of getting entry into a certain country?
Okay, so I'm not sure whether people here know that who Vision is. So we are one of the in-house ICCRC and MARA registered company, where the owner of the company itself is the ICCRC lawyer of the company and based in UAE. So all the consultants, our consultants have the experience or got the training by the ICCRC and MARA lawyer, as said, who is in-house. So the real-time information that our consultant has, the assessment is done on the basis of the qualifying criteria of any country. If any client comes to us, let's say, taking an example, the client is 40 years old and the client has bachelor's degree and the client is a mechanical engineer, and then client has English at a level of, good English at a level of CLB 8 or CLB 9, then it is not right to advise him to move to Canada, because Canada has, he has already crossed 30 where he can be a part of federal nomination for Canada. And mechanical engineers are not so much in demand when it comes to provincial nomination. This is just, I'm sharing an example. So the right advice for him to go to Australia, as Australia has good demand for mechanical engineers. And again, for the masters or bachelors, Australia gives the same points. So for the people, this kind of people, this is the way we see the, application and advice accordingly based on the qualifying criteria of each country. As said, we consultants in Vision has training got by the ICCRC and Mara Lawyer, and we give the information and we give the consultation and do the assessment with the proper laws and regulations and the criteria given by any country.
Yeah, it's always a challenge. Thank you very much. I've always found it inspiring about how many people still want to use an immigration consultant, and from this, I think that I am going to pass on to Namir, and I want to get your thoughts from DN Consultants. There's so much information that's available. So if I decide tomorrow, and we were talking about this yesterday, if I want to move to Portugal, I can work out, what it's going to give me in terms of investment or tax benefits and property, and I can look at the price of property and where it's going. There's so much information that's available to anyone that comes by. Why is it still important to reach out, do you think, to an immigration consultant in order to have the most success in the process?
There is so many business immigration programs at the moment running in. We have, for Canada, we have business immigration, which is a startup visa, in which you have, if you have a lucrative idea, we can have a proper case processing in which we can process on that specific idea the whole family file and get the permanent residency. There are so many other business immigration programs at the moment running in. For UK, there is a sole representative in which you can open the specific branch of the company where your one person can represent the overall things. And then we also do Caribbean immigrations. This is like citizenship by investment, in which you donate $100,000 and all. So we are dealing with different business immigration programs, and we have one particular vertical who handles this business immigration. And at the same phase, we are also dealing on a student visa. What we have done is, we have segregated the departments. So student department is a whole different department. The persons who expertise on a student visa handles the student visa. Then we have a particular department which runs by one person who has the expertise in business immigration. And that's how we do it for skilled immigration for Canada, Australia, and New Zealand. We believe in to work in a systematic way. We have our operations department in-house. We are also associated with IDP. We conduct the IELTS exams in-house in our offices. So that's how we are dealing it. And yes, there are so many business immigration programs running at a moment, because skilled immigration is not only the scope to get selected or to get the permanent residency. It depends on case-to-case basis. It depends on the net worth and the criteria. So, as a consultant, we have to analyze the cases, and we have to understand that which file goes towards which program to get the successful outcome, depending on the case, depending on the net worth and different other aspects.
Thank you very much for that answer. Just a reminder to anyone who has just made their way in, we are currently in the middle of a seminar where we're discussing skilled and business immigration, where you can expand your possibilities to live and work beyond borders. So if you do have some questions, we will get time so you can speak to our esteemed panel and get some advice personally, and then maybe even focus a future conversation down the track in the next day or so. Further on to that question that we just heard from you, moving along to Andrea. I mean, what are your thoughts in your experience at Sanjay Caldera Associates? Why do you think it is, or do you have anything to add to that about why it's critical for anyone to really reach out to a consultant? I mean, is this more, what is the difference between you providing actual assistance and knowledge, and how much of it tends to quite often be emotional support sometimes as well, that, they can, because this is such a huge life change that a lot of people are undertaking?
Yes, exactly. That's a good point that you brought out. We've dealt with so many clients who have gone through the process on their own and have been knocked back for very innocent mistakes. So they've spent thousands of dollars, they've wasted their time on the process, which wouldn't have happened if they actually approached an experienced consultant. They would have access to a pool of experience knowledge, especially with colleagues such as ourselves, who would have gone through the same process and have gathered so much experience with a certain application, a case-specific application. So I would encourage anyone who is looking into skill migration or business innovation, do reach out to a consultant. There is loads of information available freely online, but you wouldn't really get the professional or experienced knowledge that you would otherwise get from a consultant.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. Sam, you've been a bit quiet for a while, so we'll move along to you from Aqua Investments. I know that you've been doing a lot of work, certainly with your experience with the United Kingdom, and when a lot of people are coming to you, what's the percentage of people you think here in the UAE that are coming to you that are looking to find opportunities for startups and entrepreneurs moving to the UK? Because I know there are some various options available.
Yeah, correct. Good question. Startups is on the lower side, as I believe people in the region are already quite well established in terms of maybe their business aspect, or they come here to study. So they're not really at that stage yet. But in terms of entrepreneurs, massively. We offer 2 routes within the Innovator program specifically, which requires a minimum investment of £50,000 into a new and innovative company in the UK. Fortunately, we have the ability to provide them with 2 routes. One is if you have your own innovative idea, we can implement that and get the approval through third-party endorsement bodies sponsored by the government in the UK, which allows them to open up an innovative business in the UK. It does have its own set criteria that you need to fulfill within the 3rd year of the program. It's a 3-year program in total, giving you the PR and then the passport subsequently. But we also allow investors who don't necessarily have the know-how or the innovative, creative ideas to be able to start a business in the UK. We offer them a platform or a template where we have business owners and they're simply able to invest as a silent shareholder in the business, which gives them the residency and able to move to the UK, or they can continue their lifestyle here. It's completely up to them.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much. We'll move on just next to you from Ace Luxury Immigration Solutions. Shahrukh, I really want to know, business is changing so much. People are often doing jobs that didn't even exist 5 or 6 years ago. How are governments able to really, when they're looking to have skilled migrants, how are they able to cope with this constant evolution online and try and create visas? Is that providing a bit of a challenge when people might have certain skills that can be done anywhere when they're looking to move to certain countries?
Thank you very much. It's actually a very critical question, and to be frankly, yes, it's a dilemma all over the world that skills has been updating on every regular basis. And to be frankly, if I talk about now specifically about Canada, it's more about tech-based. So every innovative idea, every concept, they want to come there, you must have some tech idea in that. So all those skills which has been lost with the passage of time, usually the system has worked in a way that either they have reshaped the whole business model there, so either the people have to upgrade their knowledge, their skills in order to stay in the same field, or they need to change it somewhere else. So even if we talk about the immigration, Canadian immigration a decade ago was completely different. It has a different dynamics, it's more about on a person focused. But now it's more about skill focused. It's more about on the what side of specific skills you hold. Even you go to the entrepreneur, they'll see how many jobs you can create, what special skills you can bring to Canada, which will have positive impact on Canadian labor market, and overall how you can create and demonstrate your ideas. So yes, it's a difficult in a way that when you have not upgraded yourself with the time, and your set skill is too old in fashion, and then you might have a difficulties. But if you upgrade it with the knowledge, with the right skills, and you have the right approach to at the same location, then you might have been a better chances to go through it. But definitely, there is no way out except you have to upgrade yourself with the passage of time.
Okay, thank you. To Ram on the end, this is going to be a question which I want to start with you, and then I think we'll work our way down the panel here. It's been a challenging sort of 12, 18 months for the sector, like a lot of industries. But over the next 12 to 18 months, how do you really see the sector evolving? What changes or challenges do you see that are going to be facing the industry?
That's really a nice question because a lot of people are hoping and expecting things to turn around. What happened in the last 18 months was not good for any one of us, including the immigration sector and the immigration industry. However, lot of people has lost the job, and as we are seeing in UAE as well, people where most of the people are expats, when they are not able to survive, obviously they move back to their home country, and the same happened with the Canada, Australia, and New Zealand as well. In that case, now as the business is pumping up and the business is growing, the employers really doesn't have much people to work for them, and that is the reason more and more occupations are coming in demand, and more demand of skilled workers demand is coming in these countries. That will lead to the increase of number of the immigrants, and invitation numbers will increase in that case, and the list of occupations gonna be more wider. As the target, everyone knows that the Canada has set a target of 401,000 immigrants every year until 2024. They have to invite 1 million immigrants, which last year they were not able to complete the target, and this year already 10 months was passed where the borders were closed. Now this is the time where they will increase their numbers and they will reach to their target, because the countries like Canada wants to be on their words and wants whatever they have made a commitment to the world, they want to prove that. Canada is a country who believes in that. So I personally believe that this sector gonna be a changing, this period gonna be a time-changing moment for immigration sector, and lot of people will get the opportunity to move abroad. Just a matter of few months more, where you can start preparing for your immigration application. Thank you.
Thank you. To you, Shahrukh, I know in your experience, you're the Canadian solicitor and barrister as well. What do you feel are going to be the changes that the sector will be facing over the next sort of short to medium term?
So I just want to clear one impression here, that it seems like, don't take the impression that Canadian immigration is at halt from last 2 years. They are working, they have a lot of backlogs which they are covering up. And last year, when the Minister of Immigration have realized that it's not possible for us due to COVID restriction call people from overseas, so they changed the dynamics of business and immigration, and they said, okay, let's forget about overseas for the moment, and the people who are inside Canada on different TRVs like work permit, other issues, even they issued amnesty scheme for the people who are already on a visit visa, that you have an option to convert into work permit and become PR. All those people in last 1 year who were in Canada on a work permit, almost everyone got PR, though otherwise they are not qualified for certain reasons, XYZ. The last draw which happened there, and I believe it's in last year, it was 75 score, 75. So if you're talking about here 480, and in Canada people who are there, then the CEC class, they issue just 75 number is the draw score. So it means you just live 1 year, then you will get the PR. So it's very important and critical to understand the current trends. So current trends tells you that, okay, it may be not feasible at the moment to get an invitation from the Federal Express entry, but if you reach to Canada through work permit, and which by the way are processing very fast, work permits, TRVs, super visas, different kind of applications, they are taking all TRV applications. If you be in Canada and you are on any kind of legal status in Canada, you have a lot more chances, I will say 70% more chances than staying and waiting here. So yes, the shape has been changed. The concept and government preferences has been changed, because they realized if we give permanent residency to people who are inside Canada, it will be drive more economy. And they have seen this during the pandemic, when all citizens and permanent residents were not willing to work. The work permit holders, they have voluntarily worked more than what was required, and that's why government is most compassionate towards those people.
Thank you. Sam, it's been tough for the UK, with Brexit and things changing. How do you see the situation, focusing in your role, changing over the next 18 months?
I've got 3 words, to be honest. UK, and UK. Simply because in the past, the job market in the UK has always been quite solid. I mean, if you look at the unemployment rate, you will find it's abnormally high, but if we're talking about skilled workers, there is a lack of skilled workers. So the unemployment rate is those that are on the uneducated spectrum, so there's still a massive demand. Previously, the government would step in and they would issue visas or sponsorship licenses to companies with particular needs and demands. Now that they've privatized it, and not a lot of people are aware of it at all, I think we're here to give Canada, New Zealand, and Australia a massive run for their money. And not to knock the other programs at all, but...
No, we're here to do that. That's okay. You can go.
All right, I'll knock it out of the park then. Canada's way too far, to be honest. They offer good programs. Sometimes you get the PR quicker, you get the passport quicker. But the UK has been a hub for hundreds of years. The student program has been very strong notoriously. And they are now, because of Brexit, releasing the stringent laws and regulations around skilled workers and investment into the country to receive the PR. So those other programs have done very strong notoriously in the previous years, but with the new skilled worker program, I do feel it's going to give a lot of the other programs a massive run for their money. Like I said, the turnaround time is really quick as well, and it does focus on the majority of the same industries or sectors that most other countries would look into: fintech, medical, educational, whether it's engineering, finance and banking, software development, IT sectors. So it covers the full spectrum. They're not just looking for doctors and heart surgeons anymore, because of the loss of a large amount of foreign employees, specifically in Europe as well. They're looking to recompensate. So, like I said, the stringent laws and regulations are going to be dialed down, and I think this is where a lot of people in this region are going to benefit from. So yeah, I'm massively excited for the UK skilled worker program. It's going to be very, very interesting in the next 12 months.
Well, you're bullish about that, and that's good to hear. Competition is a good thing. I can speak from my experience as an Australian. There was a huge shortage of people to pick fruit over the past 2 years, mainly because it was full of holiday makers and uni students, and that would travel, and they were paying a fortune for it. You just wanted to add something to that?
Yeah, I just want to have one comment. I may not agree with everything my friend have said, but I will agree with one thing, that after Brexit, you could definitely have a shortage of skills. It has large shortage of skills, especially EU peoples have moved back and travel restrictions. So
Could I just start a debate based on that? You said, picking fruits.
Yeah.
It may seem like a non-significant task.
No, it's vastly important to the economy.
It's massive. People don't, they overlook that. Recently, we had a shortage of lorry drivers in the UK for petrol. People think driving a truck isn't an essential job, but when all of a sudden none of the petrol stations in your neighbourhood are supplying petrol, it becomes highly important very quickly. Now, just to add a debate question, I'm curious as to why you think UK will not pose a threat to other skilled worker programs.
Well, I believe, I'll talk about the Canada specifically. Canadian immigration is robust. It has been there for a long time. And their policies are more straightforward. It's been consistency is there. When it comes to UK, they make programs, they change programs. In past, it has been not a clear history, and people still, even though, don't take me wrong, but even if you have different routes to go to into UK, still there is not clarity that when you will be able to get your indefinite. So there are many things which they need to improve. Yes, they are doing it, but at the moment I believe Canada has no threat, but anyway nowadays Australia is always silent, so see how can UK take it pace, but definitely they need people. And I also think that UK should have been long ago changed its immigration policies, which they are doing now. It's good.
Okay, we'll wrap you up there because everyone else has been patient. We want to make our way down the end. Prithpal from Vancity Immigration, thank you for being patient. Your changes, you've got a lot of experience in your role as a marketing director. How do you foresee things in the next 18, 24 months? Do you agree with what's been said, or do you think it could go another direction?
Means what my friends are speaking, everyone is right at their own part, and we have been saying that the markets will be booming definitely in the future, because from last 18-20 months most of the projects were on hold or were running at a lower pace. Now the markets are open and the things have kick-started. So definitely there is a boom in the market. The IT sector is in boom, the real estate is in boom, oil and gas is doing good. So there are lots of job opportunities everywhere in the world. And the only thing is which countries are interested in getting the immigrants over there. So mostly all the countries are booming, but we need to target which countries are more interested in bringing the immigrants in, and what is the less time that it takes for an immigrant to get a PR or to get their citizenship path. So in that case, still I believe that Canada is the best country as compared to other countries who are inviting the immigrants.
Just before we move down, is there anyone who doesn't think Canada's, you probably disagree, Sam, anyone else who doesn't think Canada provides the best opportunities Most people tend to think Canada seems to have one of the best programs at this moment. All right, good. Yeah, you're on the right track. Thank you, Namir. Challenges, changes, difficulties. How do you see the industry and the sector evolving over the next 18 months?
The negative phase was majorly passed away, and as I said that with the vaccination, lockdown is ended. A lot of flexibilities the countries are giving up now. So, and we are also having a lot of relaxations and proper systematic works from the government side. Like just an example, before, World Education System, they work with a lot of delays and all. So now it's getting rectified. So with all these aspects, what I believe or what we analyzed is that coming months and years is good for immigration. As my friend said that 400,000 immigrants Canada required, UK skilled immigration is coming up, New Zealand skilled immigration with 160 points criteria is coming up. So we have a lot of possibilities and opportunities to be immigrated in well-established countries, not only Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK. We also, we are not just specific towards skilled immigration. We have a lot of programs at the moment. We have business immigration, startup visa, UK sole representative. Under skilled immigration, we have provincial nomination, majorly working. We have LMIAs, work permits. So it's a booming industry. And people are also aware on these factors, as I said, that they need stability, they need the country where they can be entitled of permanent residency, and later on they can get the citizenship where their children and their family is well established, have a lot of social and welfare amenities, and where they can grow their family in a happy manner.
Definitely. You've got to keep everyone happy at the end of the day, like any business. Andrea, your role with Sandra Caldera Associates, what are you could foresee be a problem or changes to the sector in the next short to medium term?
Yeah. Yes, we can actually see positive changes happening right now. So if you look at Australia, they have come up with innovative, cost-effective solutions, for instance, skilled migrants who would have required to do a technical or a practical interview to complete their assessment in terms of migrating. They have now the facility to do this via Zoom or online. That is very cost-effective. Otherwise, they would have had to go to another country, out of their home country, if the facility isn't available. So again, this has reduced the cost for a skilled migrant who's trying to get to Australia in terms of getting their skills assessment completed. Then if you look into students who are applying for Australia, once again, they have opened up the programs where the students can now start their studies online with being able to stay at home, again, cutting down on costs that they would have otherwise would have incurred.
Yeah, so the need for innovation has certainly provided a great opportunity for a lot of people. Lucky last, Satakshi, how are you feeling over the next 18 months? Positive, negative, challenges, excitements? How do you see the industry changing?
How are you?
I'm good, thank you, yeah.
Thank you for conducting this. This is really nice.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you. Are you trying to avoid the question, are you? That's always a good tactic, People, when they do interviews, try and move it back to the host. So have you got some big challenges, do you?
Well, actually, what I think is the worst has passed.
The worst has
The
passed,
worst has passed. The last 18 months were really heavy for a lot of families. And finally, the things are getting better. And I'm sure a lot of people want to move forward in the right direction. And of course, Dubai is seen as a stepping stone for a lot of expats. And this is not an end destination, but a stepping stone. And after this, whatever you choose, if it's Canada, Australia, New Zealand, UK, whatever you choose, that is definitely going to be your last destination, where you choose for the rest of your life, for your family, for your kids, education-wise, welfare-wise, everything, your passports, your future is dependent on that. So thank you, and yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah, thank you very much. We've had a great panel today. Anyone have any questions? Quickly, we've probably got time for just the one question, or we've got to wrap this up by 3 because we have a busy panel. Anyone? Going? Yes, we do have one question. David George is the roving MC, the man with the talent. He's going to hand over the...
My question is to anybody who can answer it. Actually, it's all to the panelists. We talk about the fact that the worst of the pandemic is over, right? We move into 2020 looking far more positive. But at the same point of time, when you look at the global economic situation, everybody's talking about inflationary pressures, increasing costs for governments, for private enterprises, everybody else coming to the country. That sort of places burden not only on the national exchequer, but as well as the people who hire people coming into it. Do you think that would in some way impact the entire numbers that are actually migrating those countries now? Because what we believe and what we learn is that everything is going to be far more expensive than it was in 2021. That's where the world is going to be. So in your opinion, how is that going to be? Because that's one thing that nobody tends to discuss. Everybody tends to believe that the world will continue the way it was since 2019, right? The costs have been stagnant. The price of entry has been pretty much stagnant, barring a little increase here and there. But now, what do you do with inflationary pressures and the supply chain logistics that have been impacted, and the fact that everything is going to be more expensive? IKEA, for instance, has already said that 2022 is probably going to be worse than 2021. I'm sure that's not the only business that's thinking like that, right? So does it place an extra pressure on people migrating, the skilled workers who are migrating in there, or companies who want to import skilled workers to working for them? Because the cost base now increases, would they actually bring in lesser number of people? Your opinions, please.
Anyone want to take that one? Yes?
Okay. Very good way to think on that part, and taking this up so that people can understand. If anything goes wrong or anything happens wrong, even in life, it takes a little bit of time to settle down. Like even when COVID started in the month of December 2019, that is the reason it is called COVID-19. The impact you see was, we faced from the month of March, or you can say in UAE we saw in the April where the lockdown happened. It again took 3-4 months. Now, obviously, as things are moving in a good direction, it will take a little bit of time. Yes, as again the point of inflation, yes, there is a pressure, but again, the spending power of people has lost the spending power in last 18 months because of one reason. Lot of people lost the job, and whatever savings they had, that's almost they have utilized for their living expenses, especially the skilled workers who are 9-to-5 job where they have limited savings. But now, as the businesses are improving, as the time is moving fast, and the time is, the good times are coming back, obviously the salary is gonna increase as well. The reason behind, now there are not so many skilled workers who are, not so many employers, who has enough manpower. There are so many employers who has taken out the manpower just to cut the cost in the pandemic time so that they can survive in the market. It's not wrong at their end as well, because they have to survive in the market as well. Now, as they want more skilled workers, the demand of skilled workers will increase no matter in any part of the world. Automatically, when demand increases, obviously the salary that they would be expecting would be increases. If a skilled worker is smart, obviously he won't then join for a basic pay or a minimum salary. He would be expecting more because he would be seeing that he is getting different opportunities from the market. So he would be going for the best one. So automatically the pocket of people gonna fill with time. Automatically the spending power will increase again, and this is where immigration will improve again. As I said, when I was taking that question, how I can see the next 18 months, as I said, it is just a matter of time. Very soon, we're gonna see a good change in the number of invitations invited by either Canada, Australia, New Zealand, and we will see a wider range of occupation and demand list. The occupation and demand list gonna be more wider, and the plus the targets that this Canada, Australia and New Zealand has given, they haven't reached to the target. And these are not the countries who will change to their words in front of the world. because they have to present themselves, in front of the world. They have to increase the number to reach to that target. And for that, if they have to increase the basic pay, there might be the possibility that the basic pay or the minimum pay might get increased as well.
Ram, good answer, and that was a very good question. Thank you very much for that. We're out of time, unfortunately, so thank you very much to everyone who has been part of the Skilled and Business Immigration Expand Your Possibilities to Live and Work Beyond Borders. We do have to give a big thanks to everyone. To Ram Sati from Vision Immigration, thank you very much. From Aish Luxury Immigration Solutions, Mr. Saruk Abbas Gondal, thank you very much. Also from Aqua Investments, Sam Pizard, thank you. To Vancity Immigration, Prithpal Singh Sani, the Marketing Director, thank you very much. From DM Consultants, Namir Azif Raza, excellent, thank you. Also, we have to say big thanks to Andrea Pereira from Sanjay Caldera Associates, you were great, thank you. And from the Anika Group, the CEO, Satakshi Singh, wonderful. As always, give our panellists a round of applause, please. They've been fantastic today, thank you very much. My name's Lachlan Kitchen. We've got seminars being conducted right through the afternoon and tomorrow, so thank you very much.